Well, I broke it, so I suppose I better fix it. What I'm referring to is this fake soundbox here that I've been experimenting with recently. Now you may remember that I had a lot of trouble getting the diaphragm out. Now attempting to turn that screw just looks like it's going to rip the diaphragm. This was held in by a little screw, and initially I couldn't get the screw to move, and when I did eventually get it to move, what I didn't realise was that all I was doing was twisting the needle bar behind it, and the threaded portion on the end of the needle bar here just snapped off. What I could do is to glue or resolder that part back on. However, oddly enough, this little screw here just didn't really fit in the hole. So what I've done is I've taken a 4BA machine screw made of brass. I've made a new part. This has been turned down on the lathe. It's been drilled 1mm and then tapped M1.4. Let's see the tap there. And I've used some little screws which I have already. These are sort of metric screws, and one of those fits quite nicely. The other end has a hole in it too, and the needle bar just fits in there. So what I intend to do is just to solder that back into place. I've coated the screw with a little lubricant and screwed it in so that the solder doesn't fill up the threaded portion. I'm going to change the gaskets too. The original ones are only circles of card. I had devised a clever jig around 3D printed parts and the lathe to cut them. However, I found I could just draw around an old one onto some new foam material and cut it out. I found it came out a bit too big, so I've just cut out a small section and taped the edges together again. Having made a gasket like that, I also happened to find this circle cutter in a local shop. For those of you in the UK, the shop is The Works. I have to admit being very impressed with this. For about the price of a cup of coffee, I've been able to make some really nice gaskets. I'm going to use a foam one on the top to replace the multiple layers of card. On the bottom is just a single card one, and I'm going to put a new card one on there. The diaphragm could also do with a bit of straightening, so I'm going to do that now. I've given the whole casing a good clean. It comes up pretty well, but there are still a few marks. Here I'm marking and punching the screw holes in the gaskets. The needle bar has required a fair bit of bending to make it fit properly, as it's now a little longer. I had to adjust the needle bar when it wasn't fitted, as trying to bend it inside the case just bent the part of the body shell it was inserted through. The old bottom gasket needs removing too. It was definitely glued in. The needle bar can go in now, along with the bottom gasket. Fitting the little screw and washer is difficult. This is the second set. The first flew out of the tweezers and got lost in the room. If you are enjoying this video, then please give it a like so that I know and that YouTube knows too. Thank you. As usual, I'm using some beeswax to seal the screw in place. Just need to add the back gasket and put the back on, and then it's done. Well, fortunately the repair has worked, though it's difficult to know if it's as good as it should be, as unlike genuine soundboxes, this one was never really meant to be played. It does show though that it is possible to dismantle and service these ones. Not easy as some parts are glued in place, but not impossible either. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next one.